Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back and hello if you're new here. For today's video, I've rounded up all of my favorite and kind of go-to makeup products so I can share with you guys my current makeup routine. I haven't shared a get ready with me or just my current routine in forever. So I wanted to just share with you guys an updated routine of what I've been using and what I've been doing to apply my makeup and get this look. So keep on watching if you want to see and want to get ready with me. So to get started with my routine, the first thing that I'm going to do is put a little of this TULA Rose Glow and Get It Eye Balm underneath my eyes. This just feels really nice. I've definitely talked about this before, but it's this fun little stick that just cools, and it says it brightens. It has a little sheen to it, but I definitely wouldn't call this a brightening product. It mostly just cools and feels really nice. So if you just need a little love for your under eyes, then definitely would recommend that. And then next I'm gonna use the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothie Primer. This is a fave of mine. It's definitely a go-to. I've been using it for a couple years now, and it is hands down one of my favorites. So this feels more like a moisturizer than anything. It just adds a little bit of glow and life to your skin, and then it's cooling, and I just love the feeling of that as well. So between the eye balm and the primer, I just feel so much more awake, and I love starting my day off feeling like that. The Frankie Rose Matte Perfection Foundation is a holy grail of mine. This is definitely not the first time you guys have seen me talk about this or use it, and it will not be the last whatsoever. But this foundation is amazing, and I typically switch off between neutral and olive. Since I haven't been tanning my face and I'm not like fresh on my self tanner, I'm gonna use neutral just because I feel like that will suit me a little bit better. And I typically do 2 pumps. I just apply directly to my beauty blender because it is less messy, but you know, everyone applies differently. The coverage of this is so good. As you can see, it just takes care of any blemishes, any imperfections, but in my opinion, it still looks like skin. I love the coverage so much. I think it's beautiful. It is flawless. And it does say matte, but the name itself is Matte Perfection Foundation. But honestly, I feel like this keeps everything in place, but it gives your skin some life. This doesn't make your skin dry at all. And it's just one of my favorite foundations I have ever used. And I always bring my foundation down my neck. And then for concealer, I am still grabbing for the Cover FX Power Play. It is a go-to. Love the coverage of this, and I'm in the shade In Light 2. So I use this to conceal and highlight. So I'm going to bring it down my nose, put on my Cupid's bow and chin. And then something new that I've been doing is cream contouring. I used to never use cream products. They just weren't my thing, but I've been liking them lately. There's a couple that I switch off in between, like literally 2. And usually it's this one by Haley's Beauty. And this is in the shade 7.25. This is the Replay foundation stick, but it is beautiful as a contour. I also love using this for foundation. And then I also use the Cosmakery contour stick as well. So I'm just gonna start with blending this out. And the Beauty Blender, I did not mention it already, I'm so sorry. This is just by Real Technique, so it's super affordable, and I love these. I've repurchased these countless times. I just love the texture of them. I think they do such a nice job at blending out, and they just feel good on the skin. Then I'm just gonna start blending out my contour, and I use the Sigma F80 Kabuki to do that. And a little trick that I like to do is I will take my blending brush once I'm all done and just lightly go around the jawline. So this is with no extra product. And then I will go down the sides of my nose. I'll recontour again later, but this just adds a little something without being too harsh. My Holy Grail setting powder has not really changed, and I'm still grabbing for the Too Faced Ethereal setting powder. It is beautiful, love the finish, and it's just a little miracle worker. So I'm just setting under my eyes, and then I'm basically just gonna set anywhere that I had put concealer. I just don't want anything to move, and this translucent powder does a great job of setting, but not looking too cakey at all. Once I've done that, I'm gonna take the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. This is such a go-to and a really pretty color. It works well for me, and they have a couple different shades out now. If this one is too light or not warm enough for you. But I'm going back over all of the areas that I used the cream contour, and this is to help set it and just keep it all in place. And I have just found that the cream contour, or like the contour stick, and then the butter bronzer just layered on top with this brush using light pressure, it's just a really good mix. It blends out flawlessly, and I just love the way that this looks. Okay, so trick that I have that I want to show you guys, if I can find my brush. I have way too many brushes. It was literally right in front of my face. I feel like I need to do a brush haul or like collection soon. But anyways, my trick, we're gonna take a small fluffy brush, and I am still gonna set down here under the contour because it's still wet right now from my foundation, but I definitely don't want it to be. So I'm just gonna lightly set that. And then I am gonna set my neck because I brought my foundation down and I don't want that to be sticky at all. I always watch like other people's get ready with me's, and they always come on with like cute jewelry on and like look, you know, just a little bit more jazzed up than me sitting here in my tank top. But this is why I cannot put on my jewelry yet, because I bring my foundation down my neck, it would get all over it, and I just feel like when I have earrings in, I'm just smacking them the entire time. So gotta save it for the end. I personally like a little baking under my contour, so that is something that I still do, and just kind of set under here. Totally optional, you don't have to, but I end up dusting this away. I just feel like it helps with the structure and just setting to make sure nothing else moves. For my brows, I've been loving the Velour Fluff and Brow Eye Pencil. There's a lot going on here. It has like 3 different parts, but the first little part that I use is the angled brow pencil. And what shade do I use? I use Neutral Brown. I love this color for my brows so much. I feel like it really just matches up so well. And then I love the spoolie. So the spoolie technically like goes on like this, so you have to take it off, and if you want to use it, you have to do 2 hands. But the pencil itself I love, and you get used to it. I'm just gonna comb through these brows of mine. So this brow used to be the one that gave me a hard time. It just was stubborn, and now they've decided to trade places, and this brow is the one that is giving me a hard time, and I do not understand, but it's very frustrating. Okay, so we have 1 brow down, 1 more to go. So I really like a natural, more fluffy brow. I like to try to stick with my natural shape as much as possible and really just kind of enhance it, fill in anywhere that is sparse, and then I do extend the tail just a little bit. But I do like, you know, just sort of like a clean but still natural looking brow as much as possible. And then absolutely nothing new here when it comes to brow gel. I am still setting my brows with the Benefit 24-hour brow gel, and I still love this so much. And then as far as shadow goes, I have kind of switched things up a bit, and I haven't really been using eyeshadow primer. I've mainly just been setting, not setting, but just like blending out the foundation and concealer that is already wet on my lids and using that. So I didn't add any powder or anything to this. I just am making sure it's not creasing at all. But it is still a little bit tacky, and that is it. So I used to religiously use my paint pot. I do still use that frequently and I love it, but this saves me time and I just have found that I don't always need it. So one of my go-to palettes is this Natural Nudes by Too Faced. It just has so many just everyday wearable colors and still can't put this down. So the color that I'm going to start with is Seashell, and it is this brown nude color here. It's really, really nice, just like transition shade. So I like to put this in my crease and just kind of blend it out with a big fluffy brush. Then I'm keeping it pretty simple. I'm going to take the shade Petal, which is this pink color right here. It's a matte, but it's really pretty and I like the warmth to it. You guys are probably going to laugh at how easy this eyeshadow is. Like, it's actually ridiculous, but this has just been my go-to and I like it for the day today. So I'm just applying it on my lid, but I am going to leave like this inner corner area open. And I just take my fluffy brush and blend it back. Next, I just take this white shade called Swan. It is matte, and I just put a little on the inner corner, kind of blend it out. But this is just to brighten it a tad. And aside from a few finishing touches, that is basically it for my eyes. I just use 3 colors and it's pretty minimal. But I of course love adding a little winged liner and I prefer using brown shadow, so I do still add that for this look. And I just use the darkest shade in this palette called Truffle, which is right here. It's a super dark brown. And then I just use an EO6 brush by Sigma. This one's super precise. If I ever want to smoke it out a little bit more, I will use a slightly thicker brush, but this one is perfect for a dainty little wing. And then this is typically the point that I take the rest of my baking powder. Not actual baking powder, but you know, my powder that was baking, and dust it away from underneath my contour. And if I feel like anything is left or like it looks harsh, then I just take my bronzer brush with no added product and just kind of dust back over. Don't ask me why I do that at this point in my routine. It's a habit now and it's just kind of what I've always done. So I've always kind of used my eyeliner as the point in which gotta dust away the extra translucent powder. But once I have that squared away, I'm gonna just add a little bit of shadow underneath my bottom lash line, and I'm just using Seashell, which was my transition color. So I'm just gonna dust a little underneath. Obviously, if I did wanna go for a more dramatic look, then I would use a darker color, but this is good for every day. And then for mascara, I am going to use my new favorite. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes Mascara. Packaging is beautiful, and I did share this in my recent monthly faves video, but this mascara is splurge worthy. It is really, really nice. So I did get a little dot up top, but it's fine. I'm just gonna let it dry and then I'll get it off with the Q-tip. But this is kind of like my first layer around. It is a pretty wet mascara, but the brush is just so good that it just like combs it right on so it doesn't get too clumpy. But I like to stop and like let it dry for a little bit, and then I'm gonna keep applying more layers to really build it up and fan my lashes out. About to do this eye, but before I did, I just wanted to show you guys kind of a before and after. I went ahead and did a second layer coat on this eye over here, and as you can see, it just really makes your lashes pop, and this is why I do not wear falsies. It would be way too ridiculous. But I really like the look that this mascara gives, and if you watch my monthly faves video, I go into more of like the story behind this mascara and my first impressions of it versus obviously what I think now, and I really love it. But if you are looking to splurge on a mascara, I would definitely recommend this one, and one of the reasons that I love it so much is how good it makes your lashes look in photos, and that's what made me kind of second guess my initial impression of this, and I was like, let me actually just keep playing around with this and see if I can, you know, build my lashes up even more than the first time that I used it, and I 1000% did. But it was a picture that I took after I used this, and I was like, oh my gosh, my lashes look so good, and they just looked really bold and defined, and I do not have another mascara that gives the same sort of look that this does, especially in photos. So I'm done with mascara, which is nice. I definitely feel like mascara takes the longest because I'm very particular, but it's well worth it. Well worth it. To finish off my eyes, I am gonna do just like a little bit of inner corner highlight. To be totally honest, I have been switching this up lately. I don't like have a specific go-to. It really just depends. But I'm gonna use my Anastasia and Nicole Guerrero highlight palette. I love using the shade Forever Young in my inner corner because it's just super glowy, really bright. So I'm just gonna pop that in there. And then for my highlight, I do switch that up a lot too, just depending on my mood. Sometimes I will go for more like gold tones, and sometimes I like to go with like the icy sort of pinkier tones. So for today, I am going to stick with the Anastasia Nicole Guerrero palette because it's a go-to. And I like mixing Glow Getter in 143. And I'm just gonna dust that on with this little fan brush. And then I'll move on to blush. Two of my current kind of go-to blushes are both from Laura Mercier. I love the shade Rosé. It's like a pinky, but not too bright. And then I also like Strawberry, which is more of that bright pop of pink. So I actually do like mixing them as well. So typically I'll just dust on a little bit of Rosé. And I like using this like duo fiber stippling brush. Is that what we call this? It's a duo fiber large powder brush. But I just think for blending purposes, these are really, really nice. And I'm just gonna do a little dust of Strawberry to brighten that up. And then from here, all I really have left is lips. I'm gonna use this NYX pencil in the shade London. It's like a nice dark nude. And I do switch up lip colors pretty much regularly, but I have a few that I basically rotate, and this is one of the ones that has been on rotation. It's Honey Love by MAC. Also shared this in my monthly phase recently, but this is a really nice nude. And I just love MAC lipsticks. They're solid. But to spice things up a little bit, and because I'm extra, I love layering lip products, so I do like putting this CoverGirl Honeyed Bloom lipstick on top. So I'm just gonna do a little of this. I just think this brings back in some of the pink tones that I really like. Just livens it up a little so it's not so flat. And last but not least, I need a little bit of setting spray, and this is the one that I've been using lately. This is the Dewy Set by ABH, or Anastasia Beverly Hills. So I'm just gonna shake this up and use a generous amount. All right, so this is my finished look. I'm in a much cuter state now than when I first started this video. So thanks for following along and watching my transformation as I got ready for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed and liked seeing everything that I'm currently using for my go-to makeup routine. Make sure to leave me any video ideas or products that you would like to see me use down in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for tuning back in and watching. If you're new, I definitely hope you'll stick around and stay. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And make sure to hit the bell so you get a notification each time I post a new video. But thank you guys so much. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Love you, and until next time.